So let's start talking about this project. So like I said, what we are going to discuss in this project. So obviously we are going to basically talk about memory chatbot. And I have already given you a demo. Let me give you a demo once again. So we are going to experience a chatbot, so which is going to memorize each and everything, all the conversation that I had. Again, I'm going to put up the limitation. It is going to memorize even from a session means the ongoing conversation, and it is going to memorize even from the previous context, or like a context which I'm going to give, or maybe the previous chat that I already have. Each and everything it is going to store where? So it is going to store into a vector database. I'm going to use a Facebook AI semantic search vector database over here, and I'm basically using a Euri API for a real-time conversation. I'm using Euri API for even a embedding, because I have to store something into a vector DB. So for sure I need a embeddings, right? I have to convert that into a embeddings. So I'm using like a GPT small case model and from a Euri itself, and then I'm going to store each and everything. So please download this folder, the folder which I have shared with all of you, right? Not able to download. Okay, is it? Click on the resource, the corner section, resource, and then you can just click over there. I'm able to download, by the way. Yeah, it's working for me. I can download it basically. No, guys, I think I'm able to download. It's not giving me a problem. I can maybe show you that. Yeah, go here, go chat, click on resource. Yeah, so let me click on this one. This is the resource which I've shared, right? See, it has started downloading. 4, 5, 3, 2, 1, done. Yeah, 108 MB. I'm able to download it. Click multiple times, not multiple times, just one times, one click. It works, always it works. Yeah, okay, fine. It is working, guys. I've shown you that. Okay, so basically I'm going to create a chatbot, right? I'm going to create a chatbot, so which is going to memorize you. You can even try to give a memory to this particular bot, right? You can try to even give a memory to this particular bot, so that this bot will be able to understand you in a better and a better way. Basically, you can go and ask any kind of a question. So here, let's start talking about a code. And before the code, so let me give you a little bit of like a, architectural overview that what this system is doing, although there is not like a complex architecture that we have over here, but yeah. So here we have created a chat interface. So there is a chat interface, right? And whenever you are going to send some chat, so this chat will go here, chat interface. Now chat interface is going to technically call RAG based approach. Basically like and plus obviously like RAG based approach, when I'm trying to say, it simply means that first of all it is going to store the data or embeddings, then it is going to call RAG based approach. It will try to understand you, by the way, and not exactly the RAG. So because I have just like a commented, I have just removed my LangChain from there. I have made it optional. I'll show you that in a code itself, because of some purposes I was doing some experiment. So RAG based approach, then it is going to store the embeddings. It is going to store embeddings into a Facebook AI semantic search database. And whenever you are going to ask any kind of a question, so it remembers you, like I said, so RAG based approach I'm trying to use, and then it is going to give you a response by combining all of these things inside your chat window. So here I'm going to use like a Euri. So Euri for like a chat and Euri for embeddings. So this is the simple approach that we are going to follow. Plus, I'm trying to maintain a contextual memory as well as I'm trying to maintain the long-term memory. So first of all, let me show you my data. So there is a user data you will be able to find out, and inside that, so there is something called as vector store. You all will be able to find out. Now, all of these data is like stored here, and at any point of a time you can come and you can try to check that what is the conversation history, and you will be able to find out all of these history in this particular place. Now, so I'll just try to delete all of these things. I'll just delete all of these things, and then I'm going to show you once from a fresh run. And even I'll suggest you guys that try to delete everything from this data, or maybe you can delete this data folder itself. So inside a code, I have already mentioned that try to create a data folder if data folder is not available. So maybe you can delete it, just delete it. Yeah, just delete this entire folder. Now let's start talking about the code. Now code is not that like it's big, but it's not that tough. Yeah, not that tough. So first of all, try to configure each and everything. Now here what I'm trying to use OS JSON. The major component is basically a Facebook AI semantic search, which I'm going to use. And I'm going to use basically a Streamlit for creation of the UI. I'm going to use a request to request my Euri model, as simple as that, right? So here I'm trying to like create one file, which is a .environment file. Inside .environment file, so we are trying to keep Euri API key. And then I'm trying to basically keep a user identity, a default one. So you can try to change your own user identity. It's mine, which I have shared with all of you. So you can try to change, you can try to make it as long as possible. It's completely fine. And then come over here. Now, so in a step-by-step manner, this entire code has been written. This entire things has been created so that you should not face any kind of a problem going forward, right? Whenever you will try to modify this one. So here there is a class I have created called as setting class. Now what this setting class is trying to do, as its name suggests, it is going to set each and everything. So it is going to load the API key, as simple as that. It is going to load basically embedding models, right? It is going to like load embedding models. It is going to load a chat models. So I'm using two models, one a chat model and one is a embedding model, as simple as that. You can try to parameterize this one. I have just done the hard coded one. So maximum token is equal to 800. You can try to give 8,000. Temperature is equal to 0.7. You can try to keep it 0. I believe we all understand what is the meaning of temperature and number of tokens. Simple, right? Now memory setting. So here memory setting wise, I'm trying to keep it 5, which means that number of our relevant memory to retrieve. So whenever we are trying to like do a new chat, right? Whenever we are trying to initiate a new chat, so how many most relevant memory as per my like a vector search, it should retrieve. And history limit, so maximum number of conversation we are going to keep. It's a 20. This is the only 20. You can try to keep 200 conversation. That's completely fine. But yeah, so your DB size, or maybe you can try to store all of it. Again, that is fine. But again, when we try to create a real-time application, we always make sure that we are trying to set some of the benchmark. Keeping that in mind, I have done this hard coding, but you can try to change it. You can try to like change this 20 to 200. That's completely fine. Vector dimension is going to be 1536. The reason is very simple. So this text embedding 3 a small model returns me a dimension of 1536. We have already learned that part a lot of times. Now index path, so where it is going to store this entire FAISS indexes. So basically index path is going to be data. Now, so data folder, if not available, it is going to create it, as simple as that. So create a directory if it doesn't exist. So even if you are going to delete it and run it from the scratch, that will be better. If you can delete this part and then run it from the scratch, I think that will be much better. Let me refresh it. So now all the data is gone. There is no chat, right? I have just deleted my data directory. Basically that was my DB, right? So that was my DB. So I have deleted each and everything. So it just remembers only one thing, user identity, which it is trying to fetch from where? So which it is trying to fetch from .env. So here I have mentioned, so only from there. I have deleted the data part, right? So data directory is completely gone. Now, so this is the setting which I'm going to do, and application setting wise. So app name I'm going to set, and the memory chat like a chatbot app name is equal to memory chatbot. So this is something which I'm trying to set. That's it. So this is a very simple class I have done, and this class is going to do all the basic setting. Now, anyone who is having any doubt with this class, let me know. Can you reshare the project? I don't think that you need a resharing. Just click on resource. Resource will be available even during the class, after the class, right? Click on the resource. So like right hand side, top right, click over there. Fine, everyone. Okay. So once this is done, right, once this part is done, once we are able to like do all the setting, and again, this project is like a very well documented, and comment wise, like everywhere you will be able to find out the comment. I have used AI for that, obviously, to like a comment it out, the entire project, so that even in a later stage, if someone is following this project, they should be able to like do each and everything. Yeah. Now, so Euri embedding class, there is a class called as Euri embedding class. Yeah. It's not opening. Direct lecture came after clicking. It works, Sandeep. It always works. I know it works. So Euri embedding. So a wrapper for the Euri AI embedding API. Now we all know embeddings, right? And again, so if you will go to Euri, so we have already given you embedding code. Embedding code is already available. Sample code is already available inside the Euri. So if you'll go to API, if you'll go to like a code example, so here we have already given you a embedding generation code. So I'm not doing anything different over here. I'm just using the same code which is mentioned over here in my own way. That's it. So here I'm just trying to like classify it. So inside a class, I'm trying to put up each and everything. So here is a URL, right? So I'm going to get an API, obviously from the .environment file, and then embedding models, right? Embedding models from the setting. So setting.api key, setting is what? Setting is my class, right? So from setting class, get the API key, from setting class, get the embedding models, and then this is the URL. So this is the URL, and then it is going to like return each and everything. As simple as that. And then in terms of embedding the documents, right? In terms of embedding the documents, so it is going to like create the, means it is sending the like a data, or it is trying to like convert it into the embeddings. And finally here I will be able to get the embeddings. So it's a exact same code, but yeah, with try and catch, like try and accept, we are trying to handle. But yeah, it's the exact same code. We are not doing anything different over here, right? Nothing different, right? So at the end of the day, I will be able to get my embedding queries. Now, so embedding is fine. Now the third class that I have written over here is basically a Euri chat. So the one which will be responsible for calling my chat completion model. So maybe I can try to give like a GPT based model, maybe Gemini based model I can try to give, maybe a Mistral I can try to give, maybe a DeepSeek R1 based model I can try to give, or Llama I can try to give. So here I know that how to call Euri, and same thing we are trying to do over here. So API key, model, temperature, max token. So these are the variables that we are trying to create, and then API key from setting class, model from setting class, temperature from setting class, maximum number of token from setting class. In setting class, we have already set all those things. So from setting class, we are trying to call all of these variable. Code is written in a bit standard way, but yeah, it's not very different. Now, so again, so we are trying to call Euri client, by the way, from Euri AI itself directly. So we are trying to call Euri client, API and model we are trying to set, and then this function is going to create a like a completion basically. So generate completion from the model. It is going to give you the final response, as simple as that. So it is going to take the prompt, whatever prompt or whatever chat that you are going to send. So this is again the class just for, right? Just for generating basically a chat completion. Okay, zoom out was the issue. Fine. Maybe you have zoomed in a lot. Yeah. So here, so this piece of the code is just helping me out in terms of connecting with the Euri and giving me a final responses, as simple as that. So around that code has been built. Now, and again, like all the exceptions has been handled. Now vector store is, so memory vector store. Now what this is going to do, so here it is going to store all of those data into a FAISS. So basically Facebook AI semantic search DB, it is going to store all of these like a chatbot memories. Again, so here I am trying to call Euri embedding models, right? Euri embedding models. I'm trying to like create an index path of the FAISS, so which I have already defined inside my like uh, setting class. And then I'm trying to like keep a vector dimension, a metadata file, and then it is going to initialize the indexes for initialize after initializing the indexes. So it is going to store all of those information in a respective directory. This is something that it is going to perform. This code looks little bit bulky because of this try and except. Otherwise, if you will closely look into this code, this is not that bulky. Now, so finally, I'm creating the new indexes and then like same thing we have done yesterday, right? Same thing we have done over yesterday. So we are not doing anything different over here. Then we are trying to save it, saving each and everything. Then there is a function called as add memory function. So where it is trying to take a text and the metadata and add memory to the vector storage. So again, we are trying to use basically our embedding models itself. We are trying to like query it. And then after querying it, so we are trying to add into the FAISS indexes. As we know that we have to store a 20 last chat, plus we have to store 5 from the like 5 top from at every search we have to do. So this is something that it is going to perform now. So there is a function for a search operation. So one is a storage, one is a search. So whenever you are going to chat, whenever you are going to initiate a new chat, it should be able to even search, basically search based on what? A kth memory, means last 5, right? Setting.memory.k, this is what I have set as a 5. So it is supposed to extract this like a kth data, means kth top matching data. It is supposed to bring based on the embeddings, and then it is supposed to so this is what embedding query is going to do. So embedding query is going to like query it, and then it is going to bring the data. After that, I'm trying to looking for basically a k number of information, means 5 latest or not latest, I would say. So 5 nearest search as per my next conversation, as per the input which I have given to my chatbot. As simple as that. So based on the distance and the similarity, we are trying to define. Get all the memory. So it is going to like give you all the memories, and it is clearing the memory. Then this is one of the memory that we are trying to build with the Facebook AI semantic search database. Now there is something called as conversational memory, and what we are trying to do over here is that we are trying to store the conversation history basically, and it's in a flat file we are trying to store. So we are trying to store it just in a JSON, I would say, like a file, nothing much over here. And then there is a function called as load history, and then there is something called as like a save. There is something called as add user message, add assistant message, add messages, and then there is something called as get history. So just a small supportive function we have created, so that some function will try to help me out to get the history, some function will try to help me out to save the history or add the assistance messages. All of these things around that, these functions are going to help me out. Now there is something called as LangChain also I have tried to implement into this one, so that I will be able to do this RAG implementation in a better way basically. So we all know, and we have already seen that how LangChain is going to work. So basically it needs 2 things: a current query that you are going to pass, and the LLM support. So LLM support, anyhow, Euri AI LLM is going to give you, right? So Euri AI LLM is going to give you, and just try to load this particular LLMs. That's it. Rest is just exception handling, right? Now, this is basically a complete chat. So the above one was everything in a bits and pieces. Now this is basically a class which is going to combine each and everything all together, that what is going to happen after what. So top down approach we have seen. Now let's try to understand little bit in a bottom up approach. Bottom up approach means like, because this is the main class, which is going to call everything, means literally it is going to call each and everything. So conversation memory, vector storage, chat model, user entity, each and everything. So initialize the memory chatbot. So here we are trying to call basically a conversation memory, which is going to initialize the chatbot. Now come down. So yeah, here. Then we are trying to initialize a memory vector storage. Then we are trying to initialize basically a Euri AI chat. And then we are trying to initialize basically a user identity. Now here, then we are trying to call basically create a LangChain LLMs. Now here, so this is the function one by one, which is going to process each and everything. Main function, you can say, right? Main function. So add user message is the very first function that get formatted history, then perform the search, format the memory, create the prompt, and then finally generate the response. So main conclusion, you will be able to find out inside this function that how this call is happening all together. So here add user message. So whenever your user is trying to send some messages, user is trying to give some input, what we are trying to do, so we are trying to add it into the conversation history. Now, once that will be done, right? Once that will be done, then we are trying to do what? So we are trying to basically get all the history, all the formatted history based on the input. Then once that is done, so user has given some sort of an input, we are able to pull some sort of a history out of it, and then we are trying to perform some sort of a search so that I will be able to get a relevant memory. So see, in general, like when we try to create a chatbot, so we try to do what? So we try to send a direct. So whenever we try to create a chatbot, so we try to send a direct this input to the LLM, right? Now this is where this chatbot is different. So we are not sending a direct query to a LLMs. First of all, we are trying to get a user input. After getting a user input, we are trying to extract some sort of a history. We are going to even search that what is a top 5 memory K that I have stored as a 5. So what is a top 5 relevant things which is available inside my memory, which is a vector store. So from the vector store class search method. So I'm trying to call. Now, once I'm able to get a relevant memory, I'm trying to pass that relevant memory into a format memory so that it is going to, like, create a beautiful prompt for me, right? Then I'm trying to pass this user input, right? User input, the raw input that user has given, then the history which I'm able to get, and the memories I'm able to get. So all three things I'm trying to pass, and I'm saying that combine all of these three things and then try to build a final prompt for me. Yeah, then try to build a final prompt for me. So it's not just a RAG implementation, because we have seen in my previous class, which was yesterday's class, that when we say RAG, right? So it will always try to focus on the private data, and then it is going to use LLMs to format those information, to give me all those information in a better way. Now here I'm just like using a little bit of different approach. So what is the approach? The approach is that I'm trying to build a bigger prompt over here, where I'm not just dependent upon the memory and history, but I'm trying to attach a complete user input as well, right? Not just like a something that we are trying to fetch from the memory. So we are trying to create a complete prompt over here. Now this prompt will go into my Euri, generate chat completion, right? This is basically a Euri. So Euri chat completion API. So this is going inside basically my Euri chat completion. Where is my function? Yeah. So generate chat completion. So this is going to give me the final response. Now, just look into this function starting from line number 478, and this is the conclusion of the entire project. This is the flow of the entire project. So if anyone and everyone has to understand the flow of the entire project, it's that. That's it, right? So this is calling each and everything in a step-by-step manner, one after another. Okay. So after that, so we are trying to call conversation memory, add assistance messages, and then we are trying to add the interaction to the memory. So basically we are trying to add something into my DB once again. Simple, right? Simple. Now, so format memory, create a prompt, then user identity, relevant memory, all these things I'm trying to fetch. Now set user identity, get conversation history, clear conversation, add to memory. So these are just a small utility which I have built, which you will be able to see on the left hand side, utilities basically. Now, so format a date. This is again the utility. So here I am trying to showcase a date. If I'm going to say hi, so it will show you date as well over here. So they are just a small, these are just a format, small utilities which I have created, nothing much, right? Now coming to the last part, basically. So Streamlit UI, a simple UI I have created. Now the UI, so where you will be able to see a memory chatbot as a header, and you can see even your APIs. You can even call test API connection, and it is just going to like do a testing and API result. It is going to give you that, okay, so everything is normal, everything is up and running. Now this I have written over here, this one. Yeah. So this I have written basically over here. So this is going to return you each and everything just for the API testing, just a utility function you can say, which has been written. Then user identity. So by default, if you are going to mention something into a .env file, it will try to bring from there. But from here itself, you can try to change your entire user identity, right? The complete user identity you can try to change, and then your system is going to hold it, and system is going to respond it as per the user identity that you are going to set. So okay, so it is saved. Now add custom memories. So if I would like to add something like a custom, I can try to add it over there, right? And yeah, so everything will be added inside a memory, and accordingly, so it is going to behave. So if I'm going to ask, tell me something about Sudhanshu in detail. Yeah, so certainly Sudhanshu's journey is truly inspiring, and yeah, so it is able to tell me something, as you can see over here. Plus, it is able to create some sort of a suggestion, like some of the suggestions over here. So human AI assistant, hello Sudhanshu, it's great to hear from you again. How can I assist you with your teaching or any other question you might have? So these are something that it is trying to generate in terms of a suggestion, and this is the actual chat which I have done. Now maybe I can try to ask a question that create a calculator app for me in Java script, right? So yeah, this time, so it doesn't requires basically uh, like a proper RAG or memory. So this time it is supposed to go and hit basically Euron, sorry, Euri AI. Euri it is supposed to hit. So yeah, it is trying to hit Euri, and then obviously it is every time it is telling me certainly is the answer, right? So basically it is coming from where? So it is coming from the memory. It is coming from the memory. So it is trying to like help me out in terms of everything. So yeah, this is the calculator app in a JavaScript. It is able to give it to me. Now tell me about agentic AI. Okay, give me a complete roadmap for data science in a step by step manner. Why I'm doing this, I'll tell you why I'm doing this much. Okay, so complete data science roadmap, it is able to give it to me. And if I'm going to ask create a schedule or timetable or whatever, obviously the system will be able to do it. Now, uh, tell me about Sudhanshu based on the, or what is the memory that you are able to build so far. Yeah, hi, Sudhanshu. Based on the previous conversation, I understand that you are deeply involved in teaching, empowering learners, data science related field, and sharing. Regarding your question about the memory I am able to build so far, as an I don't have the ability to retain the or remember the past conversation of personal data beyond our current session unless integrated with a specific memory feature. My response was generated based on the context of our ongoing interaction and my training data. However, I do have access to the conversation history within this session, which help me to provide a consistent and relevant response. If you are referring to the kind of memory or knowledge I can utilize, it include the detail you have shared about your journey, your goal of education, and topic we have discussed like data science. So see, all of these things are coming from where? So obviously, like I have updated about myself. I have added some of the custom memory, and then whatever discussion I have done with this bot, even it is able to remember each and everything, right? It is able to remember each and everything. So this is the beauty of this like a memory based chatbot that you will be able to find out. Now, if you'll go and check, so you can directly check over here, like a conversation history, right? Conversation history. So this is the conversation history. It is available into a JSON file. Plus, this is how even other vendor, right? So whether it's a OpenAI or anyone, so they are storing your data, right? We say that they are storing your data. So yeah, this is how they even store the data. Yep. And then like this meta, we are trying to. So this is the conversation history, a raw conversation history, and this is something that we are trying to store into a vector DB, right? A vector DB at last 20 conversation. So if it is going to cross 20, it will not store beyond that. So only till 20 indexes, our latest one, it will be able to install. Now tell me how Sudhanshu was associated with iNeuron, right? So this model is not accessing a real-time data because I'm using a GPT Nano. GPT Nano can't like uh, access the real-time information, but yeah, it is able to access some of the private information that I have. Are we also going to deploy this chatbot along with the full CI/CD pipeline? Not this one. A better version of this one we are going to deploy, but not today. Like in upcoming classes. Today, I'll just objective is to discuss and show you a demo that how we can build a bot so which can remember me for a very 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 long time. Yeah. So even now, if I'm going to close the session, so again, this database is physically available. This entire indexes is physically available. So if this database is physically available, even if I'm going to come tomorrow, maybe after 10 days, it is going to remember, right? And now to host this entire things, I just have to, host a UI on some platform and then this DB on some platform and establish the connection. The rest is anyhow like live and online. For example, the API that we are using. Fine, guys. So are you able to chat with your bot with by giving your own memory? Or delete the data folder. It will create automatically and then try to chat. I think that will give you a better feeling. So what is the size of the memory? Size I have not defined over here. So I have defined in terms of a conversation. So which you will be able to find it into a setting class, which is the very, very first class. So here I am defining that maximum number of conversation turns to keep. So I'm just trying to say that try to keep 20 conversation. Maybe I can say 200 conversation. Maybe I can say 2000 conversation, 20,000 or maybe 2 lakh conversation. So it is going to store that much of conversation. For now, this is what I'm doing. You can try to limit it even in terms of like a size. That's completely fine. You just have to write one small utility function, right? So it will keep on checking the size of this like a vector database that I'm trying to use, and then it will keep on removing the previous one, the earliest one. So how many of you are able to chat, guys? Yeah, anyone who is able to chat? Yes, I can do. Okay. No, LangChain, actually I have written that and I was like using it in between, then in later stage, so I have like deactivated that function. I've just removed that function. So because of like some issue with respect to the memory it was creating for me. So I have just removed it. That's the reason. So I told you in between, right, that there is a LangChain I'm using, but in a later stage, so I have just like removed it for me. Yeah. So fine, just like let me know once you are able to do it, guys. Okay, so fine, looks great. So just do one thing, guys. Try to go through this entire project once again, class by class this time, and try to backtrack, like from the main LLM or main chat class that we have. So try to backtrack from there, each and everything, one by one, right? Try to digest a code as much as you can, basically. And if you have any kind of a concern or confusion, so do let me know in a next class, or maybe in a chat itself, you can let me know, right? In a chat itself, you can let me know. Like I said, I have written a LangChain function. I was using it, but then I have removed the function from here as it was giving me some memory based like issue, basically. So as you can see, it is try with the LangChain if available, may have more feature. This is what I have like done, and I have just commented it out. But yeah, so I'm not like using it actively, this particular part. This is how this code has been designed. So just try to go through the code once. Let me know if you're facing any kind of a issue. And then if you're not able to understand some of the part, maybe I'll try to explain you in my next class. Can anyone drop the command to run the Streamlit? I think to run the Streamlit command is simple, right? So Streamlit run and then file name. Yeah. Command is stremlit, Streamlit run, and then let's suppose this is the file, so file name, and it will run. And if it is giving you some issue with respect to any kind of a library, then go ahead and then install it. Fine, guys. So I think we are anyhow connected over a group chat. So do let me know if you are going to face any issue. Now, in my upcoming classes, so if you will go and check your syllabus, so we have a back to back so many project which is there in my upcoming classes. So like this kind of a project, so many projects are already in pipeline, a label 1, label 2, label 3 segment. So here, memory enhanced chatbot, this is something that we have discussed with persistent and the dynamic memory. So yeah, we are able to persist it. A dynamic memory, we are able to add it. Now, these are the project we are going to see one by one, one by one. And believe me, every project is going to be a kind of an eye opener for all of you. Doesn't matter whether it's going to be the small or whether it's going to be a big. And we'll move on. Do we have AWS certification course in Euron? Not for now. What is the FAISS version? Don't mention it. In that case, it will download the latest version. Okay, so any question for me, guys? Any question? Anything for me? Should we use FASI FAISS into a most of the use cases, or there is any criteria to decide the right vector DB? I'll not say that you should use Facebook AI semantic search all the time. So there are like a different kind of a databases we are using. If you are going to ask me what we are using as of now in Euron for like a job system, so we are using basically a MongoDB. Inside a MongoDB, they give you a document based storage and search, plus they give you even a vector based storage and search. So we are using actually MongoDB. If you are going to ask me in like a real time, because we have more trust on that platform. Other platform, which is like a Baviet or maybe a Pinecone, it's a new one. I don't think that they have like a stable technology as of now, but yeah, they are doing a promotion. They are building things day by day. But still, if you're asking me, like, I'll pay more. But if something is going into a production, I will prefer to use the stable one. Plus, you can try to go and find out even a difference between all of these like databases, and you will be able to get some little bit of insights, not much. At the end of the day, it's a vector DB that we are trying to use. It's a vector search that we are trying to initialize. Is there a hyperparameter tuning? See, hyperparameter tuning we try to do into a training part, right? Not here. So when we say we are trying to build a RAG, nowhere we are trying to do a training. The hyperparameter that you can try to perform over here based on like parameters that you can try to change based on the application that you are trying to build is the length of the embedding, the search that you are doing, and then when you're trying to do a search, so what kind of a method it is trying to use in terms of a search. So these are the 3-4 parameters that you can try to play with. Okay, so fine guys, with that, thank you so much. If you have any kind of a question, so please ping me in a group, and I'll be happy to answer over there to all of your questions. And please try to run this particular project, the project which I have shared with all of you, and let me know if you're facing any issue. With that, guys, thank you so much. In next class, I'm going to talk about a new project, basically. Thank you so much, everyone.